Hello, my name is Michael Warren Jr., and I'm a master's student at Regent University in the master's program for K-12 Special Education General Curriculum with licensure. So today I'm going to be doing a picture plotting assignment. What it's based on is a 16 scenario that will lead up to the final scene. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 6 is the final scene that resulted in scenes 1 through 5. But the central focus word for this assignment is communication. It's always good to have communication, even in the real world on the job. So, the first scene is the mysterious arrival of Ronnie. He pulls into the parking lot. Probably a normal day, maybe just a visitor, maybe he works from home. Who really knows? Scene 2, Ronnie walks into the building. As Ronnie walks into the big building, he sees a note on his desk. Scene 3, meeting with Mr. Burns. Now, the note was from Mr. Burns, so it's obvious that he would go see Mr. Burns. Walks down the hallway through a glass door and sees a woman who's probably Mr. Burns' secretary. Scene 4, the woman lets Ronnie into Mr. Burns' office to talk to Mr. Burns alone. Scene 5, Ronnie being talked to by Mr. Burns. Now, some people might think Ronnie's being fired, and even Ronnie thought that. But he thought he was going to be fired because he missed a lot of work, and he couldn't possibly be fired because some people other within the company also miss work without being fired. Just because they weren't fired does not mean you won't be fired. They pick and choose who they want to fire in the real world. But that's neither here or there. But the conversation that Mr. Burns had with Ronnie was, I've been receiving a lot of phone calls about you, and your apartment seems to be falling behind. Now, it doesn't end there. Now, the next scene is the final scene, and where Mr. Burns and Ronnie talk, and they both sit down at a desk. Now, Ronnie thinks Mr. Burns, he's going to fire me. My apartment's behind. Doesn't end there. Now, Mr. Burns said, even though your apartment's behind, I am glad you're here to shape it because we need you to reshape the factory. Now, Mr. Burns gave Ronnie praise. And that's always a good thing coming from your boss because you always want to have a supportive boss. Now, if you look at this assignment very carefully, you will see all these scenes lead up to the final scene, 16, where Mr. Burns praises Ronnie for him being there so he can reshape the department. Okay, now this is the word web. The word web. The central focus word is communication. Now the first one is called note. As you know, we saw a note on Ronnie's desk. A note from Mr. Burns, but it's also a verb, which means a record of facts. We know it's a record of facts because someone wrote it. Number 2, department, which is also from the story and the scenes. It's also a noun. It's a division, which is what Ronnie and Mr. Burns were trying to discuss. The next word is parking lot. It's a noun. We know from the very beginning of the scene that Ronnie pulled into the parking lot. Number 4, factory, also a noun, structure where products are made. Now, Ronnie's division or department, as you might say, was out of the factory building. Job, I think that's pretty self-explanatory based on the scenes. A position that's being paid. Now, Ronnie didn't work for free. And even if he did, he still had a job to perform to shape that department. People, human beings. Now, in each department, you're going to have people who help you run your division. And Mr. Burns and Ronnie happen to be individuals and human beings as well. Telephone. Well, that could be neither here or there. We do know that Mr. Burns had been receiving a lot of calls regarding Ronnie. Happens to be a verb, so it goes along with the plot twist. Now, miswork doesn't really go with the theme, but and again, it does. It's also a noun. But Ronnie thought he was going to be fired for missing work. Didn't happen, but It was also an essential word within the story. Now, all of these words have to do with communication. I'm really hoping that you enjoyed this scenario and you took something away from it. Have a good day.